Hey guys, Ken Ellis here with Apex Racing Academy, and welcome to this track guide for Tsukuba in the 992. So obviously I have a little bit of an unusual one this week. Not really going to be any overtaking going on around this circuit. Probably a fair bit of chaos as well. If you are going to do races here, there's going to be a lot of chaos in the mid pack of people kind of trying to make moves because it's so hard to pass. So the first couple of laps and everything's sort of tightly packed will be probably be quite hectic. But anyway, with that in mind, let's get into the track guide. So, as we approach turn 1, you're typically going to be getting onto the brakes right around here, just at the end of this access road on the left hand side. However, I'm looking at this little tyre mark just here. We're getting to threshold by. So, as I'm coming in here, I'm looking up the track, spotting this, onto the brakes, and then if you look, as we go to the outside, that's the tyre mark just there. And you watch the brake input now, you can see we're already at threshold, and we're gradually kind of coming out of the threshold now, coming out the brake pedal. As I come up over the top of the crest as well, the car will get quite light. You can see by the steering here, we're just having to sort of correct ever so slightly. You do want to try and carry as much speed in as you can and try and enter a fair bit shallower than you feel as well. You want to, as soon as you start braking, you just kind of want to turn in, start aiming for the corner. Now here we're going to double apex this. As we approach, you can see this white line on the inside. We get quite close to it there. Downshift into first, and then you can see we're kind of washing out mid-corner here. Now as I'm coming through the corner, I'm scanning the apex the full time. As we come in, I'm looking at the first apex. Okay, we've clipped it, we're down to first. I'm now scanning. I can see this little tyre mark just here. That's my throttle pickup point. So that's my next spot. Once we've picked up the throttle, aiming back to the inside again, a little short shift a second for a little bit of extra traction. And then you can see we clipped the second apex there, V'ing the corner off nicely, giving us a nice straight run out the corner. A little bit of oversteering the exit just because of the speed we've carried. But overall, that's all good. Into this next little sort of right flick into the left hairpin. Pretty tricky corner, this one. So as we come in, you want to brake just at the start of this curb on the right hand side. And I'm getting to threshold just shortly after this little light patch on the curb. So again, you can see we're braking just before the start of the curb on the right hand side. And then as we come over the top of that curb, you can see the car sort of compresses into the track here as it starts to go uphill. And we just give it a little added bit of brake just to get that deceleration done. But then right here, the track really falls away as you drop into the camber. You can see how cambered the hairpin is. You need to bear that in mind. As the car's going to drop into that, it's really easy to lock an inside tyre. If you're going a little bit too quick, you might lock an inside rear and you spin. Or if you're coming from the wrong angle or too much steering or something, you might lock an inside front and have much of the same. So it's really easy to lock one of the inside two tyres. We're going to drop down into first gear, pretty late downshift into first. You see we're going to drop it into the camber. There we are, down into first. Catching the white line, and then once it's all kind of about feeling in the hairpin, but you can also see here there's a very vague sort of X marks the spot, tyre marks just here. See, it's a sort of X mark. That's probably going to be your best throttle pickup point. So as you brake here, you're going to be looking in towards the apex, looking here. You've dropped it into the apex. Okay, I can see it, and you spot this X. Here's my throttle pickup point. Boom, pick the power up just there. Again, still in first gear, and then on the exit, we're going to have a short shift a second because the track sort of rises up. See, there's a slight kind of rise here where the rear is going to get a little bit light. The car's going to want to get loose. So you want that nice early short shift a second and make sure you can get over the top of that without any issues. Up into third gear and then into this right kink just here. No real brake marker for here, it's a little bit awkward. You can see there's a little faint sort of tyre mark just here that you might be able to spot right there. But again, it is really, really tough to spot it when, especially if you're going to be behind the car, there's going to be a car on this part of the circuit here, so you can't really see anything. So a lot of it really is just off feeling. Key thing is getting as close to the grass on the left, in third gear, trailing the brake the full way and just keeping the weight over the front tyres, making sure we get that rotation. And then as you hit the curb on the inside, right as your inside front tyre meets that curb, pick the throttle up, nice and aggressive up to about 50%. And then be really patient with the last 50. We're a little bit too quick back to power, and the car's really going to want to snap out on you. You see again, we exit out against the curb on the left. And as we flick in for this next left-hander, you can see we're going to be nice and patient on the throttle. No way you can take this flat. You can see here we're lifting out of it, and already the car's getting loose. A few corrections here, just with a little bit of throttle. And then back up to 100. Entering this right-hand hairpin from a nice straight angle. And you basically want to brake just at the start of this grass on the left hand side right here, like so. Onto the brakes, And again, this is cambered like the previous hairpin, so as you drop it in here, it's really easy to lock an inside tyre. A lot of times you'll probably see the lockup lights going, but into here we managed to avoid that. So right as you drop it into the camber, you can see we're going to drop a lot of brake pressure out of it, but we're still going to keep some brake on, as we need to keep weight over the front tyres to keep it rotating at low speed. Again, we're down into first. Now as we bring it round, it's just a case of sort of feeling again for the throttle pickup point. There's no real sort of marks on the track that we can use. It's pretty messy around here, and there's nothing that really stands out on the circuit, to me anyway. So around here it's the case of once the car's sort of bitten and you can feel in the wheel that it's rotating, like right there you can see we get that little added bit of rotation. Just as we come in, the car really begins to hook. We can pick the throttle up, a little short shift into second as well, and then we'll run it down the very short back straight in towards the final corner. Into this final corner you can see there's this long tyre mark that heads all the way down, and there's a little tyre mark just out here on the left. We're going to brake just on this tyre mark on the left, drive it in nice and hard from 5th, down into 4th, down into 3rd. Just a little bit later on the corner you can see, there it is there, down into 3rd. Keeping brake on the entire way, even though it's very, very little, just enough just to keep decelerating the car, scrubbing the speed off, and keeping the weight over the front tyres to get it turning. Once you get to the start of this red and white curb on the inside, you want to pick the throttle up, gradually apply it as the rear is going to get super light round around right about here in the corner. If you try and apply any more than this, it will just want to snap on you. So once you get past the end of the grass on the right hand side here, once you're past the grass on the right, you can get to full throttle. You should be pretty damn close to it by the time you get to the end of the grass. Like you can see here, we're near enough at the end of it, and we're at 85-90% throttle, and then right as we get past the end of it, up to 100, and then run it to the line. You can see just a little. You can see how light that rear end gets as well, just heading to the line on a full push lap. But anyway, guys, with that is a lap of Tsukuba. Hopefully this has helped you guys out a little bit. Again, if any kind of questions, then feel free just to fire them in the Academy Discord, and we'll get back to you. But with that, guys, thanks for being with us this season, and we'll hopefully catch you back next season.